Wait, did you know there's a story in the Bible where a man gets swallowed by a giant fish and survives? Or where a woman literally turns into salt? Or where someone's hair gets so long it makes him superhuman? If you think you know everything about the Bible, think again. Today on Scripture Uncovered, we're diving deep into the 10 strangest, most shocking, and honestly wildest stories the Bible has to offer. Some of these will surprise you. Some will make you question everything. And trust me, you won't believe story number 3. Stick around to the end, because the last story is absolutely insane. Let's get started. But before we jump in, hit that subscribe button. We upload new biblical stories every week, and you don't want to miss them. Now let's go. Our first strange story comes from the book of Jonah. Picture this. You're a prophet. God tells you to go to a city called Nineveh and warn the people to stop being evil. But Jonah, he didn't want to do it. So instead of listening, he runs away. He buys a ticket on a ship going the opposite direction. Now, here's where it gets wild. God gets upset with Jonah and sends a massive storm. The boat is about to sink. The sailors are freaking out. They ask Jonah, "What did you do?" Jonah tells them everything and says, "Throw me overboard." It's my fault. So they throw him in the ocean. And then, and this is the crazy part, a giant fish swallows Jonah whole. He's inside the fish for 3 days and 3 nights. Think about that. 3 full days. Inside a fish. He's breathing, praying, and alive the whole time. After 3 days, God makes the fish spit Jonah out onto the beach. Jonah is alive. He's wet. He's probably smelly, but he's alive. And guess what? He finally goes to Nineveh like God asked. This story is so strange because, well, a man survives inside a fish for 3 days. That goes against everything we know about biology and human survival. But the bigger point, it shows us that you can't run away from God. Eventually, God will get your attention, sometimes in the most unusual ways possible. Our second strange story happens in the book of Genesis. The cities of Sodom and Gomorrah were so full of evil and bad behavior that God decided to destroy them completely. But God had mercy on one family, the family of a man named Lot. God sends angels to warn Lot and his family, "Leave the city. Don't look back, just run." Lot, his wife, and his daughters start running. The angels are with them. God is destroying the entire city behind them. Fire, destruction, everything falling apart. The angels say one thing: don't look back. Whatever you do, don't look back. But Lot's wife, she looks back. The moment she looks back, she turns into a pillar of salt. Just like that. Her body becomes salt. She can't move. She can't speak. She's just a statue of salt standing there. Okay, so how does a human body turn into salt? This isn't science. This isn't something that happens naturally. This is pure supernatural punishment. And what's even stranger is the simple act of looking back caused it. One look. That's all it took. The deeper meaning, God was testing obedience. Lot's wife couldn't just obey a simple instruction. She had to look back at everything she was leaving behind. And for that disobedience, she paid the ultimate price. Next up is the story of Samson, and I'm telling you, this might be the weirdest power-up story ever written. Samson is the strongest man in the Bible. But here's the thing, his power doesn't come from the gym. It doesn't come from eating right or training. It comes from his hair. Yes, his hair. Let that sink in. When Samson is born, his parents make a promise to God that Samson's hair will never be cut. As long as his hair grows long, God gives him incredible strength. Samson can fight 1,000 soldiers with just the jawbone of a donkey. He can break chains like they're made of paper. One time, he grabs the gates of an entire city and just carries them away. But then, he falls in love with a woman named Delilah. She's beautiful, but she's working for Samson's enemies. Delilah keeps asking him, "What makes you so strong? How can I make you weak?" Samson keeps dodging the question. But finally, after she asks him over and over again, he tells her the truth. His uncut hair is the source of his power. So, what does Delilah do? She waits until he falls asleep, and she cuts off all his hair. Just like that. Gone. When Samson wakes up, he's normal. He has no strength. He's captured. His enemies blind him. They make him a slave. Everything falls apart because of his hair. A magical power in someone's hair? This sounds like a superhero origin story, not the Bible, but it's real. And what makes it even stranger is how specific it is. Not just long hair, uncut hair, one rule, and breaking that one rule destroys his entire life. You've probably never heard this one. It's in the book of 2 Kings chapter 6, and it's absolutely bizarre. A man named Elisha was a prophet, kind of like a spiritual leader. One day, some young prophets who followed him were cutting down trees to build a new house. One of them is using an axe when, oh no, the axe head flies off and splashes into the river. He's freaking out. That axe cost money he didn't have. He yells out, "Oh no, the axe was borrowed. I can't pay for it." Elisha walks over to the river. He cuts a stick from a tree and throws it into the water where the axe head fell. And then the axe head floats up to the surface. It's floating, an iron axe head, floating on water like it's made of wood. The guy picks it up and uses it to finish his work. Problem solved. Floating axe head, miracle. Iron doesn't float. We all know this. Iron is heavy. It sinks. But in this story, a prophet throws a stick in the water and an iron axe head floats to the surface. This defies basic physics. It's a miracle that seems almost silly. But the point is clear. God can do anything, even the impossible, even the things that don't make sense. This story is dark. It's in the book of 2 Kings, chapter 2. A man named Elisha was walking through a city when some young kids started making fun of him. They were laughing at him, mocking him, and being disrespectful. Elisha was upset. He called down a curse. He said, "I curse you in the name of the Lord." Immediately, and I'm not making this up, 2 bears came out of the forest and attacked those kids. 42 of them were hurt that day. Just like that, mocking a prophet. Bears attack. Story over. This is wild. A man curses some kids for being rude, and bears show up to punish them? By today's standards, this seems completely unfair. Kids are kids. They make mistakes. They're disrespectful sometimes. But in this story, disrespect towards a prophet of God has serious consequences. The lesson: in the Bible's time, respect for God's messengers was not something to joke about. You couldn't just laugh at a prophet and walk away. There were spiritual consequences. This one is famous, but it's still incredibly strange when you really think about it. Jesus is in a boat with his followers, called disciples. They're crossing a lake. Jesus gets out of the boat and starts walking towards them. But here's the crazy part. He's walking on top of the water. Not swimming. Walking. Like the water is solid ground. The disciples see this and they're terrified. They think it's a ghost. They don't recognize Jesus. He's walking towards them on water and they're screaming in fear. Jesus says, "Don't be afraid. It's me, Jesus." Peter, one of the disciples, gets so excited that he asks, "Jesus, if that's really you, let me walk on water too." And Jesus says, "Come on." So Peter steps out of the boat and he walks on water. He's actually doing it. He's walking towards Jesus on the water. But then Peter looks at the wind and the waves, and he gets scared. The moment he doubts, he starts sinking. Jesus catches him and says, "Why did you doubt?" Walking on water. That's physically impossible. Water is a liquid. It can't hold the weight of a person standing on it. But in this story, Jesus does it. Peter does it. The laws of physics don't apply. The spiritual message: when you have faith, you can do impossible things. But the moment you doubt, you fall. It's a powerful lesson wrapped in a completely impossible scenario. Jesus encounters a man in the region of Gerasenes who is possessed by demons. This man is really struggling. He's been living in a graveyard. He's cutting himself. He's out of control. People try to chain him up, but he breaks the chains. Then Jesus shows up and casts out the demons from the man. Here's where it gets weird. The demons beg Jesus, "Don't send us away. Instead, send us into that herd of pigs over there." Jesus agrees. He sends the demons into the pigs. And you know what happens? All 2,000 pigs run off a cliff into the sea and drown. Every single pig. Gone. Dead. The pig farmers who owned these animals, they're not happy. They ask Jesus to leave. They don't want a miracle worker destroying their livelihood. Jesus leaves the area. The man who is possessed gets healed and becomes healthy. But 2,000 pigs are dead. Why would Jesus agree to this? Why send the demons into pigs? Why let all those animals die? Some people say the pigs were unclean animals and Jesus was okay with their death. Others say the point was to show the man's healing was more important than pigs. Whatever the reason, it's a strange miracle. A man gets healed, and an entire herd of animals pays the price. It shows us that sometimes God's miracles have unexpected consequences. Our next story is from the book of Numbers, and it features one of the most unexpected conversations in the Bible. A man talking to his donkey. A prophet named Balaam is riding his donkey to meet a king. The king wants Balaam to curse a group of people, but God doesn't want Balaam to do this, so God sends an angel to block the road. Balaam can't see the angel, but the donkey can. The donkey sees this angel with a sword and freaks out. The donkey refuses to move forward. She turns around. She lies down on the ground. She won't budge. Balaam gets angry. He starts hitting the donkey, yelling, "Why won't you move? Get up!" And then, this is absolutely crazy, the donkey talks back. She speaks human words. She says, "Haven't I always been a good donkey to you? Haven't I always obeyed? Why are you hitting me?" Balaam is shocked. He argues with his donkey. His donkey is making valid points about their relationship. Then God opens Balaam's eyes and he finally sees the angel blocking the path. He gets it. The donkey was protecting him the whole time. A donkey talks in complete sentences, makes logical arguments. This is not normal. Donkeys don't talk. Animals don't have human language. But in this story, God gives the donkey the ability to speak, so Balaam will listen and understand what's happening. It's such a strange miracle that you have to smile when you read it. God could have done anything to get Balaam's attention, but he chose to use a talking donkey. Okay, imagine this. It's getting late in the day. Jesus has been teaching a crowd of people all day long. The crowd is massive. 5,000 men plus women and children. Everybody is hungry. There's no food, no restaurants nearby, no food trucks, nothing. The disciples tell Jesus, "We need to send everyone home. They're hungry. We can't feed them." Jesus says, "Okay, go bring me whatever food you can find." The disciples look around and find a small boy who has brought lunch, 5 small loaves of bread and 2 tiny fish. That's it. That's all the food available for 5,000 people. Jesus takes the bread and the fish, gives thanks to God, and breaks them into pieces. Then he starts handing them out to the crowd. And something impossible happens. There's enough food for everyone. 5,000 people eat until they're full. And there are leftovers. 12 baskets full of food left over. How? How is that possible? 5 loaves and 2 fish feeding 5,000 people. The math doesn't work. The physics doesn't work. But it happened. This miracle breaks basic rules. You can't multiply food like that. You can't take 5 loaves and feed thousands. But Jesus did it. This tells us that with God, there's always enough. Even when it looks impossible, God can provide. Our final and strangest story is the resurrection of Jesus Christ. If you've never heard this before, buckle up, because this is the core story of Christianity. Jesus teaches people, performs miracles, and attracts thousands of followers, but the religious leaders and the Roman government don't like him. He's a threat to their power. So they arrest him, put him on trial, and sentence him to death. Jesus is crucified. They nail him to a cross. He bleeds. He suffers. He dies. A man named Joseph puts his body in a tomb, a cave sealed with a big stone. Jesus is dead. His followers are devastated. Everything is over. But 3 days later, 3 days, something incredible happens. Jesus rises from the dead. He comes back to life. His followers see him. He's not a ghost. They can touch him. He eats food. He's alive. He's real. Over the next 40 days, Jesus appears to his followers multiple times. He teaches them. He strengthens their faith. Then he ascends into heaven. He goes back to God, and his followers, they go out into the world and spread his message. They turn the world upside down. Death is permanent. Once someone dies, they're gone. That's just how the world works. We all know this, but Jesus came back from the dead. He conquered death itself. No one in history has ever done this. For Christians, this is the most important miracle. It's not just strange, it's the foundation of the entire faith. It says that Jesus is more powerful than death itself, that death is not the end, that there's hope even in the darkest moments. So there you have it, the 10 strangest stories in the Bible. A man survives inside a fish. A woman turns to salt. Hair gives superpowers. Axes float. Bears attack bullies. Jesus walks on water. Demons go into pigs. A donkey speaks. Food multiplies, and the dead come back to life. These stories sound crazy. Some of them sound impossible. But that's the point. These stories show us that God is not limited by the laws of nature. God can do anything. God can do the impossible. Whether you believe these stories literally, or whether you see them as spiritual lessons, one thing is clear. The Bible is full of wild, strange, and incredible narratives that have influenced billions of people for thousands of years. Here's my question for you. Which of these 10 stories surprised you the most? Which one did you not expect to hear? Let me know in the comments below. I read every comment and I love hearing what you think. And if there are other strange Bible stories you think I missed, drop them in the comments too. Maybe we'll do a part 2 video. If you loved this video, please like it. Liking helps YouTube show this video to more people. Subscribe to Scripture Uncovered if you haven't already. We upload new biblical stories, teachings, and discussions every week, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new video. Just click the bell icon. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being part of the Scripture Uncovered community. I'll see you in the next video. God bless you.